All right, so before we get started, I want to thank our top tier sponsor, Rheem. Rheem has heat pump water heaters, which are the future of water heating. They take natural heat out of the air and use it to heat water with zero emissions directly up to 400% efficiency. Rheem offers hybrid water heaters with backup electric resistance at 240 volt to ensure that hot water is flowing all the time. 120 volt systems that quickly replace gas without all the expensive electrical upgrades might also be more applicable to you and your clients. Now, the way these work is they're pulling heated air through a filter that absorbs an R410 refrigerant and uses a compressor to heat the coils that are wrapped around the tanks. And you can control those systems, you or your clients, through the heating levels, sense the leak detection, track energy usage over time, and set up a schedule for time of use programming. And some utilities are even doing pilots now where you can get major incentives by not having the system operate on peak. I use that personally at my house. Inflation Reduction Act benefits up to $2,000 tax credits for these Rheem heat pump water heaters and up to $600 for electric only systems. And you might say, why would I go electric only? Well, sometimes it can be more affordable and cheaper to just put in a standard electric tank. They do use more energy, but the Rheem ones are coming with programs on them, so they can also be programmed for that demand response time of use. So you can still get that benefit out of it and kind of use it as a battery. So check it out over at heatpumpwaterheaters.com, rheem.com, and learn a little bit more. And thanks to our second tier sponsor, Indo, storm windows on the inside. Yes, they improve window performance with these window inserts, feel warmer in the winter, cooler in the summer, save up to 20% on energy bills. Third-party studies show if they're utilized throughout the entire house on average can also reduce air leakage up to 10%. So these are do-it-yourself windows that can be measured right by you or your clients. They send a measuring kit and then you measure it and put it in. And you can check those out over at indowindows.com. All right, I'm super excited to be doing our session today using green benefits to sell homes and projects. And before we dive into it, just a real quick reminder, my name is Brett Little, and I'm the education manager here at the Green Home Institute. The Green Home Institute is a small team of 3, and we're a nonprofit with a mission to empower people to make healthier and more sustainable choices in the renovation and construction of the places we live. This course is approved for multiple continuing education units, including all 5 pillars of green and our certified green home professional designation. AIA Health, Welfare, and Safety may make it applicable to your state-based design or contractor license. Now, before we kick it off, I just wanted to basically feature our speaker today. She's Marla's also one of our members here at the Green Home Institute, so we appreciate her support, and I wanted to just publicly let her know about her award, well, not award, but her completion of the Green Home Institute Associates. So Marla, this is us officially recognizing you publicly for going through all that training. And so
thank you.
Congratulations on that, and for achieving our Green Home Associate designation. And anyone else who might be interested in doing that as well can check it out on our website. But with that, I am going to stop speaking. Marla, Green Home Coach, welcome to the show. I was excited to be on your podcast not too long ago, so glad you can be on our webcast. And I'll just hand it over to you to introduce yourself, what you do, and take it away. So thank you.
Well, I actually saw, thank you so much. And I actually just saw a name I recognize. Hello, Don in St. Louis. I used to work with Don back when I lived in St. Louis. So, very fun. I saw someone else from St. Louis earlier too. So lots of fun. Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. And thank you again, Brett. I'm so thrilled to be here. And we've been so fortunate to have the opportunity to work together. And this message about benefits is something that I have been sharing with people for quite some time. And it's such an important part of our work because we can do all the work right. But if we don't help people understand the value that they get out of that work, then it's all for naught, or it can be. And so that's why it is so important to understand how to use benefits to sell our homes and projects our green, healthier homes and projects, we know they have so much to offer, but a lot of times other people don't. As Brett said, I'm Marla Esser Close. For those of you that knew me in St. Louis, you knew me by Esser, which is why I kept it. And I am the founder and owner of Green Home Coach. I currently live in Oklahoma City, but I used to live in St. Louis, so I kind of have a foot in both places now. I am a new National Green Building Standard verifier and a LEED AP, as well as a Wellness Within Your Walls certified professional. And as you learn, I'm now a Green Home Associate as well. So I'm excited to have all this training, and my job is to put it to work for you. So here I am. So today we want to cover really about 4 outcomes that will give you a baseline to move forward in how to start using benefits more as you are selling and working on homes and projects that have green and healthier features, certifications, etc. So we'll want to understand which components in a home may be healthier, more efficient, or green, and how to spot them, as well as the added value of those features and certifications, and then how to sell the emotional value to help sell homes and projects. And we'll wrap up with 3 maintenance resources to distinguish you. And actually, they don't come in that order exactly. So, but the maintenance resources are another one that kind of doesn't get talked about enough. And it is such an important part of keeping our projects, our homes, our features in top-notch order and keeping things working the way they were meant to. So that's a super important aspect. So welcome to a green home. And when I do this course for people that have no knowledge or very little knowledge of green homes, we go through quite a bit of high-level understanding of what Brett calls the 5 pillars of green. I do it a little bit differently, and I had a 6th pillar for home maintenance and ownership and how you run the place. So this holistic approach is across all of those, and that is what makes this green, healthier home so special, is that holistic approach. And I know a lot of you out there are seeing all kinds of homes that are meeting these criteria, be they remodeled or new, multifamily, single family, rural, urban. It can all happen. And the key is that we want those healthier, safer, and more comfortable living spaces, because really it's all about the people living in the home, not so much, I mean, yeah, the home's important, but what matters is that is the end, the means to the end, with the end being our living experiences, our clients' living experiences in those homes. And as you know, that attention to detail and careful planning is what is so critical to make sure that all the needed elements are met, and we end up with a home that looks good and performs well. And that's one of my very favorite sayings, because it's so important. And we, our entire real estate market is really based on how homes look, the aesthetics. And you don't figure out the performance until you move into a home. And oftentimes that happens with new homes too. So we have an opportunity to elevate the conversation and change it. So I want to start with benefits, because they're the most important part. If we're not talking about the why, then we're not really getting our message across, and we're not really sharing how these things that we do make it so much more important, so much more valuable for our clients and their lives. So health and safety is number 1 to me. I think we all are really a lot more sensitive to this, especially after COVID. As we age, we're facing more health considerations, or we're dealing with parents that have health considerations. And you really start to notice how much all of this comes together and how we need to talk about it at a level that people can really understand. So yes, reducing pollutants, contaminants, and moisture, as well as our byproducts of combustion, is super, super important. But fresh air via ventilation is the one that the conversation has really changed on. So these are the features, and they contribute to health and safety. And our job is to make sure that we are tooting the horn, if you will, and letting our people know that health and safety is achieved by various different practices that we build into our homes and our remodels. So each time I'm working with a specific client, I want them to go through and understand what features do they want to point out in their own homes and projects for health and safety. And then how do we build the value messages, the benefits around those different features and how they relate back to health and safety. And this is an equation that we can use for all of the features in our homes going forward, and building those benefit and value statements and building those into our messaging. So for instance, exhaust the humid, polluted, or stale air with bath fans or kitchen exhaust fans. We may also want to point out quieter fans that run in the background. I know I love my quieter bath fan because we will now run it all the time because it's not so dang noisy. Breathing issues are a huge one with off-gassing and not having formaldehyde and VOCs in our homes at near the level that they might be with a traditionally built home. So we start there. And then we look at comfort, which again is a hard one to define. I'm hearing a lot more of us talking about how to control the environment inside of our home rather than the comfort alone, because both of them work hand in hand. But for most of us, it means that it's warm or cool where it should be and free of drafts. And then you've got to point out all of the features in our homes that contribute to human comfort. This is a big one too. I think right after health and safety, this is it, which is why I put it here. And if you look at Maslow's laws of, oh goodness, now I've forgotten, the hierarchy of needs, then you will see, it's substantiated that these are the things that we really do pay attention to in our lives. So again, what features might we want to point out, and what would be some of the value messages around those? One of my favorite is windows. Everybody thinks you got to replace windows, which is actually, if you were tearing things up, replacing windows is a great idea if you're already doing things. But as most of us know, just replacing windows for the sake of replacing windows is not always the best place to start. Matter of fact, it rarely is. But windows have a huge impact on our comfort factor, which we know, but are we talking about it? Are we talking about what we've done? So for instance, well-sealed windows keep drafts down for better comfort. I had a home once where I had a sofa pushed up against my windows, but they were so leaky I couldn't sit there. So I had to figure out a way to seal those windows up so that I could just enjoy sitting and looking out at my beautiful view. So understanding how to talk about this is super important. And sometimes money is not the most important thing. A lot of that depends on which demographic you're talking to. So yes, talking about the money. So for instance, keeping your hard-earned air conditioned air and money inside the home is super important, where insulation and air sealing comes in. But the comfort factor is also likely going to play in there too. So you'll want to be prepared to talk about both. Why a green home is better, speaking of money, cost savings. But it's not just, as you guys know, it's not just the utility cost. It's the savings on equipment. It's the savings on maintenance and replacement with durable, long-lasting materials and systems. We rarely talk about this maintenance and durability issue for some reason. It just kind of gets skipped. And we really, I don't see as an industry as talking about the savings on equipment near as much as well. We seem to focus in so much on the utility cost and reducing this utility cost that that's all we talk about. I talked with a lady who's a realtor and a builder not too long ago, and she was having a really tough time selling her house. And all she kept talking about was how low the energy bills were. She was talking to millennials, and millennials, that's not the first thing that most millennials are concerned about. A lot of them are much more concerned with comfort, sustainability, the durability. So understanding who you're talking to, taking a little bit of time to get to know them up front will help you to get the messages on target for what your specific client may need to hear. And the last big benefit we're going to cover is resale. Okay, another one about money. But this is one that we also need to be talking about more with our real estate professional partners and helping the whole real estate market to understand the value of homes that have been certified, of homes that have green, energy efficient and health features. And we've seen, I know you guys have seen so many studies out there that existing houses with certifications can sell for up to 30% more, depending on what part of the country you're in. And what's so critical about this or so helpful is, pardon me, my computer is ringing and I can't turn it off. We will give it a moment here to go away. Pardon me. Hopefully you guys aren't hearing that. Education is one that is so important. And so many buyers look at that certification and see that it offers that real proof that they're getting what they paid for. And it gives them that third party independent assessment that things are really happening there. And, I'm talking to so many people that just knowing that somebody is watching over the shoulder for when things are being built or remodeled gives them just that assurance that there's going to be higher quality there just because they know somebody else is watching. So the last part I want to wrap up on this benefits sections is the home operation and maintenance, because this gets overlooked so much. And actually, this is where I started in the green home industry years ago when I brought out a tool called HomeNav that was actually a homeowner's manual and owner's guide for multifamily, single family homes that could be used for green certification purposes. And so I learned a lot very quickly, actually, about home operation and maintenance and what all the different components are and how do we share this information so that we enable our clients, the people that we're working with, to take the best care of these great homes and projects that we are putting together for them. So if we're not training our homeowner clients, our owner and maintenance clients, then we're shortchanging them because we're not really giving them all the tools they need to really have this partnership of them living, taking care of this great place that we have built or remodeled. So homes that last longer cost less and less hassle to take care of them. That's a big reason it is so important to maintain a home. And there's some basic training, and especially when I'm talking to people in the real estate industry, like if you just do this basic training for your home buyers, sellers, owners, anybody that you're working with in the homes that's a occupant or an owner coming into the home, they will thank you up and down because this training is so rarely done. And now with it being so easy for us to have videos, it is so easy to video when you're doing this and then send that back to the people, to your homeowners, your owners, and your occupants, because it's really hard to remember this. If you're going through a walkthrough or you're trying to remember 2,000 things that are happening during that 1 hour that you have for that handoff. But think of the basics, and the basics may be a little bit different in your homes and projects, but what we typically see is the lighting and fan controls, the appliances operation, especially now with so many more high technology appliances coming on the scene. Same thing for water heater settings and use, and where the water heater is. I've literally talked to people that don't know where their water heater is, and they don't even know how to turn the settings at all. So that's a really key one. And if you've got a high efficiency water heater, this is a great time to point out how the settings work in tandem with the efficiencies and the higher technology on that water heater or any of these elements, and let them understand that those two work hand in hand. So that's a good one too. Recycling practices. This is one that, again, is super helpful, especially if there's recycling in the community or the neighborhood, and let them understand what they can do. And it's just a great way for us to remind people that what is available for them. Show them how to change their HVAC filters and where they are, and also giving some guidance on what HVAC filters are actually going to work in their units without compromising the flow rates of their units. And lastly, and probably the one I hear the most, and you probably do too, is thermostat operation and programming. And the easiest way to just get rid of this one is to have a learning thermostat. I absolutely love my learning thermostat. But sometimes those aren't there. Sometimes they're not getting replaced. So helping them to understand how that works for them, rather than them just getting frustrated and saying, I'm not going to do it, is just a huge boon to them as well. So that's a great one to do. Okay. So I actually have written a book, if anyone's interested. It's called Living Green Effortlessly: Simple Choices for a Better Home. Long title. But one of the things that's in that book is a chapter on maintenance and maintenance checklists. And I partnered with a lady named Tina Gleisner from the Association of Women Homeowners and the Home Tips for Women. And she's done a wonderful job of writing up seasonal checklists that we can use with our clients in our own homes and projects. And one of the things I love, love, love about how she breaks it down is that she breaks it down into 3 parts. So if you have a little bit of time, you can inspect, and then you have the list of, your list of things that you can inspect. You have a little more time, here's some simple repairs and upkeep that you can do. Same list of items, but more work. And then here's the things that if you're a weekend warrior project doer, or if you need to bring in professional help, here's the bigger projects. And having it broken down into these 3 areas has helped so many people that I've talked to about this to wrap their arms around it, that maintenance doesn't have to be all or nothing, that we can get in there and just keep an eye on things, and understanding when things are happening helps us to get in front of some of those things and help us to, maintain the durability and the longevity, as well as things working the way they're supposed to. So this is a huge one for us to have, is some element of conversation with our projects, or the people that are living or owning our projects in our homes, that this maintenance component is also a big part of this home or project being green, healthier, more energy efficient, and all of the things that we're so proud of when we get our clients' projects done. So now I want to switch around a little bit, and I want to go down a rabbit hole with you a little bit more on this whole health and wellness aspect. This one benefit has become so important over the last few years, and it is one of the best benefits that we can really talk to that has not been talked about as much in the past. And there's been these trigger points, and it's not just, so many people think it's just been COVID, but it's not. We've had all these disruptions that have brought health and wellness into focus. We've had, the wildfires, we've had flooding, we've had environmental issues, we've had illness. It kind of seems like we're being pummeled with it all the time. But this has really brought it to our, right in front of us, that indoor air quality is a huge concern. And many more people are really starting to understand that it's really here, and that we really need to do something about it. So one of the things that we really started to recognize is that health and wellness is partially inside of the certified green home pillars, if you will, or in this case, foundational layers. But it is so important to keep these other health and wellness factors in mind. And that's, clean air and water and chemical control and behavioral issues, which ties right back in with owner's manuals and training for maintenance and operation. And then all of that comes to a peak when you add in all of this below, plus the holistic health amenities. And that evolves to what we're seeing more as the health and wellness communities. We're seeing wellness real estate out there. That's a huge market. Many hundreds of billions of dollars in the wellness market and the wellness real estate market. So it really behooves all of us to understand the health impacts and the health messaging, because that is a huge way for us to market and message our homes and projects better, is to really emphasize the health impacts. Matter of fact, we're really coming to a time where we are reframing the conversation just above and beyond energy efficiency to talking about health. And green home, healthier home, those third-party certifications still work their magic. I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, look to these certifications when you're working on projects. It makes all of our lives easier when we know that there is a third-party independent certification for an element that's going into our homes and projects. But we also need to give our clients the assurance that these certifications were chosen for a reason. And sometimes we gloss over that. And I'm hearing from more and more people in the real estate industry that this magic of certifications is a real thing, that people get so much more peace of mind and acceptance when they know their certifications. Obviously, we need to use real certifications and trusted certifications, but getting that knowledge out there and letting people know if there's certifications is really important to helping us to better talk about and our clients to better understand our projects. So you can also do health and wellness certifications. And this is a great way, just as it is with energy efficient certifications or with green home certifications. This continues to be a way for us to document the features so we can communicate the value and the benefits. It can also help increase our appraisal value, although we all know that's its own rabbit hole to go chase. It helps us to document best practices and talk about them. It helps us to show quality in our projects. Again, documenting this. And this is one of my favorite reasons to use third-party certifications, is to help put all this together in a way that's understandable, repeatable, and documentable. It's also a way for us to brand our homes with wellness, is by making it known that we do these things. So there's a lot of certification resources out there. Green Star, Green Home Certification, has the health pillar. EBA has an education offering for healthier homes awareness. I have not worked with all of these programs, but we did some research for another group I was working with a while back, and we found these programs were consistent that we were running into. National Green Building Standard offers a wellness badge on top of a green home certification. Reset, Well, and then a newer player to the market that you may not have heard yet, Wellness Within Your Walls certification. And this is a certification that I hold. But I said, check some of these out. If there's a way that you can add these to what you're already doing, it's a way for you to add additional information, additional reassurance for your clients. We also have this opportunity to look at our project budgets differently, because we still all have budgets, no matter, even if money is not the most important thing, it still comes into play. So we still have to take all of this, into account. But people are beginning to really understand that they do need to look beyond aesthetics, and it's not just about how things look. So this gives us an opportunity, as we're building our project budgets, to show how we are using planning up front to reduce the waste, to reduce rework. I sat in a masterclass a few years ago that basically said if we cut out the waste in our home building and remodeling projects, it would just about pay for the improvements that we need to bring our homes up to a much better level, a certified level. So that's a lot of waste. So yes, working to get rid of that waste is a noble goal, I think. It also gives us this format to show trade-offs, and we are all dealing with trade-offs, right? But those upgrades sometimes don't get well understood with those trade-offs, and helping in the project budget even to understand those trade-offs is giving us that baseline to work from. And then lastly, something I think we've probably all been trying to do is really to keep putting out life cycle costs versus first-time costs. I know we're a first-time cost society. This is how everybody thinks, but the more we talk about life cycle costs and the more we help people understand how the total cost is really what matters in the long run, the more that we at least can start nudging the industry to go that way. And of course, incentives are a great way to help pay for some of these upgrades. I hope none of these are a surprise to you. I know we are still awaiting some of the rulings. There are the specifics on the rules for the Inflation Reduction Act, but we're already, 45L and 25C are already out there, the HOMES program, and I'm sure all of you have been using Desire for ages. That's been one of my go-tos for ages. But I have to tell you, I continue to be amazed at how few people in the real estate industry know about green mortgages. And that's still kind of astonishing to me. But helping our finance people to understand green mortgages and how they can help them is something I'm hoping we all can take a part of. It's something I'm trying to work towards to get our banking industry, our mortgage industry, better understanding why these green mortgages are so important. And of course, with ESG becoming more and more of a topic, I think more and more people are starting to pay attention. So we will see where this goes. So you have an opportunity to give your clients the gifts of time and peace of mind with the healthier home prescriptives that are in your homes. with the safety and security and the comfort that come from your homes, easier maintenance and operation, as well as lower cost. So all of these things, again, look back to the benefits. The benefits here being those gifts of time and peace of mind. And who doesn't want peace of mind? And who doesn't want time? Never seems to be enough of that. So now you got to turn all this into your marketing plan. So now that you have a better understanding of the benefits of the value, then you connect them to the features. So for instance, the benefit may be health. Then we make a list of the features that contribute to healthier homes. Then we want to showcase your homes and the benefits that are in the homes attached to the features. And this is as simple as it sounds. Using the signage throughout a home is one of the very best ways I still think we can communicate the features. And then if you're showing your home or showcasing your home as a pilot home or a parade home or a showcase, or maybe it's a philanthropic home like St. Jude's or some of the other home programs. We do one here that's House of Hope in Oklahoma City. That's for one of the children's charities. And all of these are ways that we can get this messaging out in front of a lot more people as people are coming through these special homes. And we can do it in our everyday homes. Realtors can do it in the homes that they're selling and help the buyer to understand the advanced benefits of these homes and point out the features that support those benefits. We have to tell them. We have to tell the message, and we have to keep telling it. And most importantly, it needs to be the same message everywhere, always. The more times we repeat it, what do they say? Somebody's got to hear something 7 times before they're actually going to acknowledge it or take action on it. That means we have to keep sharing that same message. I have followed a few groups where the builders do a great job of putting a health and wellness message, a higher efficiency, high performing message on their website. And then I walk into a model home and the salesperson knows nothing or very little. So you must get everyone on the same page. Must. So training your salespeople, training your tradespeople, everybody that works on or in your homes and projects should have the same understanding of the benefits and the features that contribute to those benefits, so that everybody has the same message always coming out and nobody is caught off guard. Telling it everywhere means your website as well. And this is a great place to start. I loved these two because they just put it right out there. Indoor air quality, healthy homes. Okay, you know what they're talking about. Welcome home, custom, beautiful, healthy, high performance homes. And you'll notice on this one on the lower right, they also are a certified B Corporation. Well, that to me, and I'm sure hopefully all of you have heard of certified B corporations, but this is a great way to show that your company is indeed behind people, place, and planet and profit, and that you believe in it so much that you've gotten certified in it. This, again, we're back to the magic of certifications, that third-party independent certification. We just had a business here in Oklahoma City. It's the first retail operation in Oklahoma City, I think in Oklahoma, has been B Corp certified, and we're going to the celebration in a week or two. So I'm very excited for that. And I'm excited that we get to share this story with other Oklahomans. This is a place that we've been a little bit behind the curve on the green sustainability and healthier message. So it's exciting to see that it's working everywhere. So the meaning of home has changed. And this really rang true. So it's gone from the place where I want to feel physically comfortable to my main source of safety and security, right down to the air I'm breathing. And this came from a What is Home report from the Shelton Group. I follow the Shelton Group a lot. But they've run some very, very interesting demographics and reports. If you go to their website, you can download many of their reports for free. And their blog is also chock full of information. If you're looking for it, it's sheltongrp.com, not group spelled out. So I can put that in the chat in a little bit if somebody reminds me. And there's another resource out here that I wanted to leave you with. So I apologize if this kind of feels out of place. I wasn't sure where to put it, but Home Performance Counts is a website that was created through a joint effort of the National Association of Home Builders and the National Association of Realtors. And if anybody's already heard of this, I would love to know it, because I have a theory that this is one of the most underutilized, underknown resources out there. I love this resource. It is a great way to use for education for both the home buyer and the home professionals. And this page in particular, the things to listen for from the home buyer. This could be the same if you're building a home, right? Or remodeling a home. This works for all of this. But when you hear these cues, someone in my family has allergies and asthma. This is just a screenshot, so I can't click on it. But when you click on the arrow, it brings up a whole list of features that can help address allergies and asthma. And it goes through a whole list of these. So it brings it down to the conversation of what things are bugging our clients right now. I don't like that the heater seems to run all the time. The paint on my siding is peeling. These are real everyday issues that our clients are facing and we can fix with remodeling or building a new home. But we have to connect the dots. And this is how we help connect the dots. When I do my longer 2-hour workshop, we go through a lot more of these and actually practice building some of these out. So that is, that's a great way to do it as well. But this website will give you so much insight into how to have these conversations and connect the dots. Other thing I love to do is helping people understand that green features can be anywhere on any size of house, outside, inside, on the roof, awnings on the windows, and helping people to understand that many times healthier green features are literally right under your nose, but you may not be talking about it. My favorite one on this slide to talk about is in the lower left hand, and it's the window shades. How much do we talk about window shades? I know they're thought of as a decorator item, a furnishings item, but how much do window shades actually help to control heat and light? And coupled with behavioral, actually getting in the habit of closing and opening them at the right times and knowing when those are, or automating them, helps us to control heat and light in our homes, which adds significantly to our comfort and may also add significantly to our energy bills. So just knowing how to talk about all these different features can make such a huge difference. So I want to kind of summarize up 10 green features that we often see tied into key benefits in homes and projects. And I'm not going to read these because you can. I know we talk a lot about zero or low VOC paints and finishes. And when I do this workshop for real estate professionals, this is one I really hit on, because almost every real estate transaction that I've been involved in or known someone that's been involved in has included paint the place so it'll be fresh, or paint the place so it'll have neutral colors. Well, simply painting the place with zero VOC paint gives you at least a beginning of a healthier home benefit right off the start. So it's a talking point. It's a way for us to begin the conversation just by doing something a little bit different than we might have done it in the past. The other one, you see window coverings, and then air sealing and insulation is what we always go to as a big key feature, and it is. But there's so many other things that we can talk about. We just need to know what they are and then listen to our clients so we can talk about the ones that are most important to them first. So I wanted to give you, okay, this is an eye chart. I apologize for that. But I wanted to give you an opportunity to see how this could work in a real estate listing. And maybe this is a description for a newly built home. But this one just happened to be, and this was a real house, by the way. This was one I actually did. So very feature loaded, right? It's 5-bed, 3-bath. And I'm like, the other thing is, I don't know why people put beds and baths in the beginning of their descriptions, because it's also in the information in the listing. but we go premium finishes, giant island, everything's a noun with an adjective, right? Countertops, appliances, frameless glass showers, spray foam insulation. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Low E windows with argon gas. How many of your clients know what that is? Solar board roof decking. Who knows what that is? It's a client. 16 SEER AC. Okay, we're getting really techie here. And then this home, so we kind of tried to wrap it up here at the end. This home achieved a 49 HERS rating, meaning it's 51% more efficient than a standard new home and 81% more efficient than a typical resale home. So we do finally wrap it up with some elements of kind of benefit. So I rewrote it, and I rewrote it to hopefully emphasize what I thought would be important to people coming in to look at this home. So quality living, unbeatable price in this well-appointed, high-performing home. The comfort of energy-efficient heat and cool, windows and doors, and premium insulation throughout the home. Breathe easier with better finishes and fixtures. Smart design for family space for gracious entertaining around the kitchen island and great room flowing out to the covered patio. HERS index in the 40s. For lower utilities, home looks great and performs well. So hopefully you think that's better. I thought it was better. They did end up selling the home once we reworked it. It wasn't exactly this one that ended up going out with the real estate people, but it was definitely something that they took into consideration when they rewrote stuff. So that's it. That is using benefits to help sell the value of green homes and features. I've got a couple of resources up on my website that I invite you to take advantage of. I also have programs, a blog and a podcast, as well as my book. And I hope I will hear you or get comments from you on one of those platforms. If you would like to get in touch with me, this is my contact information. I'm in the central time zone, but I work crazy hours. So as long as you don't call me in the middle of the night, I will absolutely love to talk with you. And at this point, I think, Brett, we are ready to open it up for questions.
Yeah, thanks so much, Marlene. We are ready for some questions. So please put those questions right into the chat. And real quick, before we get to them, again, just to remind you, the answer is yes, usually. You can rewatch the session, share it on social media, access it at a later time just by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and you can catch up on anything you might have missed there. For those of you watching this in the future, not right now, but on demand, head over to the Thinkific or USGBC platform, take your quiz with an 80% passing rate, and you may receive your CEU certificate that way. For those of you listening live today, check your spam at certs@gutenbergcerts.com. As long as you are appropriately logged in, you will receive that certificate over the next couple of days. So just check that spam box there. And before we get to all those questions coming in, we just always have to say a huge thanks to all of our volunteers, our board of directors, our executive director, Jose Reyna, and then all of our nearly 300 members and our top tier sponsors, Mitsubishi, Ream, April Air, and all of our sponsors who are going to help you and your clients achieve all of these sustainability goals ultimately. So let's take a look at some of the questions coming in. So here's a specific, question, Marla. Obviously, you kind of just talked in general about third-party certifications, verifications. Talked a little bit about the whole home, of course, being certified, and then, of course, the individual components of the home. All right, the building materials and all that. So, LEED certification, we know that at least globally to be known as one of the most well-recognized one. Now, yes. In the United States, it was like one of the first national programs to move forward. I believe it has since then been surpassed, at least on the housing side anyway, but still has a lot of clout. And so the question here, well, the question, I guess, let me rephrase the question a little bit. what are your overall thoughts on LEED? Are you seeing it out there? Are you seeing it as a useful tool to help sell green features?
Yeah, and I'm while I am a LEED AP, I
Mhm.
work with LEED the least,
Mhm.
and just kind of the way that it's all worked out over the years. But LEED is definitely the most recognizable. But again, it had a cachet of being challenging to work with and for LEED for homes. I have talked to a number of people that have said that has gotten better over the last few years, but I have not worked on a project in the last few years with LEED for homes. So I'm going to leave that to the people that know. But it did have this kind of reputation of being a lot of documentation, a lot of detail for a single family home. And that has been one of the things that I have really enjoyed about learning about Green Star and working with National Green Building Standard is that they work pretty easily in multiple environments, multifamily, single family, production builds. And I don't have that experience with LEED.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean it's not out there. I just don't. But I definitely agree. And I applaud what the U.S. Green Building Council has done as far as bringing so many issues into the forefront, and just getting it out there. And yeah, here Earth Advantage is a great certification, and there's tons of regional programs. And the important thing is to make sure that they are third party, independent, and that they are actually verified. If it's self-verified by a builder or remodeler, it's going to be a little more challenging to know that that's really doing what it says it's going to do.
Great.
And do it. That's the most important part, right? Do it.
Right.
We'll be like Nike. Just do it.
Right. A question here from, I believe, an energy rater. Welcome. Is, we energy raters, we are energy raters wanting to get more involved in the real estate transaction. Is that common? How do we get into that?
Oh boy. I think the IRA is going to help with that somewhat, since so many of the incentives and the money is made available are coming from having an energy audit. But I think there's also a way to talk about yourselves, like talking with home inspectors and attaching yourself to a home inspector. Why haven't we thought about doing that? And I know real estate transactions tend to be just that, transactions. And I know when we bought our house, we probably missed out on all kinds of things because everybody was in a hurry to close us. But we had a home inspection issue, and had I had an energy rater, and I'm in the industry and I didn't do it, so shame on me. But had I had an energy rater come in behind the home inspector, we would have probably been able to solve some of those issues pretty easily. So I think selling ourselves or selling energy raters yourself as a way to help avert potential issues down the road. Take this performance issue, for instance. How many times does somebody, especially somebody moving into an existing home, how many times do they recognize that there is a performance issue? There's that one room that's always hot and cold, or there's a mold or mildew that just is behind the wall so nobody knew it was there, or some other element that they don't know until they live in the house. And helping, and I'm not sure which comes first, helping the people buying and selling homes to understand, or helping the real estate market. So maybe it needs to be both, but we got to keep telling them. It helps a great deal that the real estate industry, the National Association of Realtors has a green designation now, and there's a lot more realtors getting it, so that at least they have some basic education on how to talk about that. And this gives us at least an entree into talking to them.
And speaking of energy ratings, the next question that kind of came up is sort of just like green certifications. There's this sort of a la carte menu of energy ratings, which are always components of the green certifications, right? They're never the green certifications. Sometimes people conflate the two, but green is much bigger. So the question, I'm going to kind of reword it a little bit, and the question is kind of, when you're thinking through how to do an appropriate energy rating, which one makes the most sense, especially if you're trying to consider, cost effectiveness of it versus payback. We get that a lot. And now considering, what's coming down the pipe with how it's going to be done under the Inflation Reduction Act, like, what's your experience with all this?
Yeah, and that's a tough one. And with the IRA requiring Energy Star certification, that is definitely going to change the landscape, because we can no longer get by with being such and such above, or, ASHRAE, or having an ERI score, or formerly a HERS score, or even an HES score. So yeah, this is, I think, going to start changing things as people start going after that money. So incorporating Energy Star into a green certification, and even tacking on a health and wellness certification on top of that, now becomes a bigger picture. So you're going to want to make sure that they work hand in glove together, first of all. And so some programs have the health built in, or a badge or a pillar, and some of them don't. And that's great that, we can go both ways, but know what you're getting yourself into. I am going to be, I don't see a huge variety of prices and details across the country, except what I hear from like other verifiers. And I'm a new verifier, so I'm still hearing that, although I've been working with them for 12 years. So I think it's feeling like it's changing, but I think so many people see the energy rater kind of as in the background and not in the foreground. And I think there's really an opportunity for energy raters to stand up and claim that spot, because what you as an energy rater can bring to the table is opening up incentive money, understanding how to live in a home better. You can also go with the health aspect. There's a company here in Oklahoma City that does energy and health assessments. So they are coming at it from both angles, which I think is pretty smart.
Yeah, you make a good point. I tend to joke a lot when people reach out to us for help. At least in Michigan, we require blower door testing on new construction and sometimes major home improvements, right? And so I always joke, like, look, you have to hire an energy rater. Do you want to hire them now in the design stage,
right,
so they can help you and get you rebates, or do you want to hire them at the end when the project's done and you're panicking to get in, and they come and tell you failed? I hope you don't, but when do you want to hire them? So that's the question I always leave with people. So the code has been helpful, because before the code, there wasn't a blower door test. And so you didn't really have that conversation. I mean, you had it, but you didn't see them often. So,
and it's hard because having more testing done costs money. And, it's, when you're in a very transactional first time cost kind of an environment, adding more cost onto things without people understanding the value is kind of an unequal equation.
Sure.
So that's back to this whole message of why we have to talk about the benefits and value. And that helps. It helps people to understand that cost is not so much a cost as an investment.
Right. So another question that came in, I'm going to add a little bit to it, is realtor liability. And I hear this come up time and time again. Now, this specific question was about realtors going out and offering these maintenance manuals and all that. And so I want to, what's the liability there? But adding to that, what is the liability, when realtors are, highlighting these sustainability features that are not often highlighted in transactions, right? Maybe to help get their clients get more value or find a greener home. And then reverse question, because I always come up with this, is, I guess the question I always ask is, what is the liability if they fail to highlight these things? And so what are your thoughts on all that? So
Well, and that's exactly one of the magics of a certification, is that it's a third party independent group saying this is true.
Right.
And there's actually, oh gosh, you had him on your podcast too, the realtor from Grand Rapids, Brett.
Oh yeah, Brett. Yeah.
The other Brett.
Yep.
But one of the things he said that really struck me, he said, the magic of certifications is real because people come in and they see that certification and they know they can trust that it's actually there. And he said, the realtor I as the realtor don't have to worry because it's not me saying it, it's the certification saying it. So it does help to contain risk and reduce liability if that certification is there, because it's not you saying it, it's the certification saying it. But and using the green appraisal addendum checklist to highlight things, or better yet, using the green appraisal checklist to give to the appraiser. And that's another one that we're seeing more and more people start to understand, but I'm still oh my gosh, amazed at how many people don't know about the green appraisal addendum. And that's a resource that's out on the Appraisal Institute's website that all of us can use to help document our homes and the features that are in our homes in a way that's going to help the appraisal. And just so using all these tools, and yes, is it unfair that we have to go to all this extra work to point it out? Yep, it is. But when there's a paradigm shift going on, we have to help make that shift happen.
Yeah. I want to expand on this question a little bit. And you talked about green mortgages. What kind of opportunities are you seeing for green mortgages specifically? Are you seeing anything out there? I guess, and maybe we can speak it more to it a national sense, just since we have.
Yeah. I think the place to start with all of this is just getting people to use the energy efficient and green mortgages when they are building and remodeling, and there's different products for different ones. I am not an expert in them. I know enough to be dangerous.
Yeah.
But everywhere I go, I'm not hearing people knowing about them and using them. And as I work, like even in Oklahoma City, we have, I don't know, 15-ish builders, including our two largest builders, our largest production builders in the state, that build with a Oklahoma energy efficient certification, but they're not offering green home mortgages or or energy efficient mortgages. And I'm like, and they're certifying. And it's just, so I kind of feel like all this untapped resource is there. And if you coupled this, for instance, with like there's renovation loans that help you pay for your energy efficient renovations when you're renovating, as well as other renovations. Wow, that's a great way to upgrade our existing housing stock. But we have to help people understand, and we have to get the people that have the money and the access to the money to understand that if you want to help impact change, we need to bring these tools out into the open.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I answered your question though.
No, I mean, I think, and there even a comment came in here, which wasn't a question, but thank you for your comment, that, really showcased the difficulty here. And, I can just speak to, and let you all know my personal experience is I actually just used a traditional construction loan, and I just made the construction loan for green. Right. So if you have a lender, you can get a construction loan financed. If a new home is a construction loan, that's what it is. Right. And then it transitions to the regular mortgage, or a renovation is a construction loan. And I found, pretty good rates on that. And it was able to fund a lot of the green building aspects or renovation aspects. I did. And, it didn't require the lender to do anything special. The only trick was that some lenders require you to have someone with a builder's license to do those construction loans, or they give you better interest rates.
That's what I've seen a lot. Yeah.
Right. And so
chicken and egg, you are so right.
Right. And so what we've been trying to tell these lenders, like, look, it doesn't always make sense to have a person with a builder's license. That can be expensive.
Yeah.
Maybe you should just have a certified energy rater. And that makes more sense for what some people are doing. And so, maybe this is a national legislative policy that needs to get done. And so,
well, and we end up talking to ourselves so much because you go to conferences and you learn all about all this stuff. And that's like, but how do we get it? This is why marketing is so important, because this is how we get it beyond us. We can talk to ourselves all we want, but until we go out and talk to the people that are buying our goods and services, we're not spreading the wealth, so to speak. So it's, it's green mortgages, energy efficient mortgages, all of that is just one more tool in our basket that helps with marketing. And it may be as simple as saying, my homes or my projects are eligible for green mortgages. And somebody goes, what's a green mortgage? Maybe it's that simple. I don't know.
Right. And it did remind me there is, and we've had them on the show before, but Freddie Mac has the Green Choice Mortgage. So it is a nice little package, but does your lender offer it? Probably not. And when you ask them to offer it, they probably won't, but mine did. So, I appreciated that. All you have to do, if you don't ask, you'll never get it. Right. So
exactly. And the more people that ask, like the there was a comment a little bit ago, chicken and egg. And the more people that ask, the more people that are going to start doing it. Like I have a credit union here that's really interested in distinguishing themselves and offering something different. So they've been slowly learning about green mortgages and energy efficient mortgages. And we'll see if they ever do anything, but at least they're interested. It's a start.
Yeah.
I'm a big advocate of celebrating baby steps.
Yeah.
Lots of baby steps.
So Marla, you had informed me, and I was really excited about this as your sort of second line of work that you do that I think is worth sharing with others, helping engage workforce. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing with that?
Yeah, so I helped to bring a program called Build My Future to Oklahoma City 4 years ago as part of our Home Builders Association. And this is a one-day career construction expo exploration event for high schoolers to come in and just hands-on, interactive, take it to town, go do this stuff. So it's a great way, especially with so many of our schools not having shop classes or hands-on classes a lot of times. It's a great way to help those high school students. Well, then I got involved with a spin-off group. It was like, well, we want to do a whole camp. Oh gosh. So at any rate, I ended up working with them, and now I'm camp director for a group called Construct My Future. And we offer a week-long day camp for middle schoolers. So we decided to go younger, and they come in and have 4 activities every day. Well, one day's field trips. But they come in and learn the basics from everything from how to drive a nail to they're going to be doing plumbing and HVAC and even a little bit of welding this year. I know we're just itty bitty amount. You sign a lot of waivers to send your kid to camp. Safety first.
Yeah.
But what we've learned is that these young people, they love working with their hands and they love exploring it. And even if they decide that this is not for them, they get exposed to something that they've never known before. And some of the kids that come to us are really already helping mom or dad around the house fixing stuff. And some of them, it's just a whole new world. But we have to change the conversation with our young people around the great careers that are available in the building industry and the skilled trades, because we don't have enough people and technology is not going to make up the gap. So this was our little way to start impacting that. But we're hoping to grow it so that we can offer the camps in other locales besides ours in a few years. So stay tuned.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I guess I'm curious how sustainability gets implemented. Is it just sort of interwoven as?
Yeah, it's right now it's more interwoven in how we run the camp and talking about like when we're talking about electrical, talking, at a general level about the efficiencies that go with having things done right. And same thing like with HVAC. But what we hope to get into is we're actually a huge wind state here in Oklahoma. And we have a wind training facility that's we'd like to figure out how to get involved, that or our solar installers, but you have to be an electrician before you can be a solar installer. So helping them to understand how this all ties together. And one of our activities will be insulated concrete forms. So they will see an alternative way of building as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, we are at our time here, and I'm trying to see if there's any more questions. I don't see any other specific questions here.
Let me put my email in in the chat, and so if somebody didn't grab it from the
well, and if you can also, just for those who can't see the chat in the future too, where can people go to reach out or learn more?
So if you want to learn more about Green Home Coach, it's greenhomecoach.com. And I'm Marla at Green Home Coach, so it's pretty easy. We're on Instagram and Facebook as at Green Home Coach, all smashed together. And then if you'd like to learn more about Construct My Future, if you just Google Construct My Future, you will find it. And then I have a separate email for all my construction camp stuff, but you can always reach me through Green Home Coach. But if there's a video on the front page of the Construct My Future website that'll give you an overview of what last year's camp looked like. So a lot of fun.
Awesome. Marla, I really appreciate your time and your support of us as well. And thank you all for joining us. We'll catch you on the next event next week. So goodbye. Thank you.
Bye, y'all. Thanks.
Be sure to check out all of our courses available online that you can watch anytime and anywhere to pick up your CEUs. Before you go, make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube to get weekly updates and stay up to date on green building science courses, webinars, and home tours. Thanks again.